What is up, you guys? It is Faith Abria coming back at you, and we are at SoulCity Sessions today here with guests. Yes. Also checked out your music. It was like a combination. I feel like you gave me a couple different vibes, like for real. I was rocking with it. You give me like Andre 3000 with like Joey Badass. Like those the type of vibe. I don't know. That was just the type of sound. It was just like reminding me like that era of music. I don't know if you was into that like Joey era at all.
To a certain extent, but I think just like growing up. I mean, I grew up in the South, so all the music that was played, it was just a lot of stuff that was like coming from my older brother in the hip hop sense. So, you know, listening to Outkast.
Yeah, that was the first one that, yeah.
You know, a lot of, you know, UGK, No Limit. But on the same flip of the coin, you know, he would, you know, play Hove and DMX and Lox and Dipset. So I had like all that growing up too. So it's definitely East Coast stuff, definitely a lot of Southern bounce to it, but you know, and then as I grew up, getting into Dilla and in my own production style, there's a lot of Midwest influence too. So Common and Black Milk and everything that was going on in the Midwest was important, and then West Coast stuff too. Like I draw from everything. You know, I definitely try to have my own like regionality, and you know, honor the South. But at the same time, I do like to pull from everywhere.
So you said you were from the South. What state?
Florida.
Okay.
Tampa, Florida. Is where I was raised. I moved out here last year, just to, you know, open up the opportunities more, because Tampa has a small ceiling when it comes to the music side, and there's a lot of creativity, a lot of talent there, a lot of hard work is there, but the infrastructure is not there. So coming out this way, there's events like this where we don't get those back home, you know.
See, I've been there once. I've been to Tampa like one time, and I didn't really go for music though, so I don't really see that side. But it did seem very like, at least where I was at, it seemed a little like it was older people. It was very like kind of spaced out. Yeah, it definitely wasn't like LA vibe for sure.
Definitely not an LA vibe, you know, and you got to look for certain things, you know. So I think a lot of the music circuit in Tampa really flows through a lot of the nightlife or the strip clubs. That's where people really go to cut their teeth on things. And you know, back in the day, we had a lot of promoters that would bring new emerging artists. So I did a lot of shows opening up for the A$AP Fergs and the Danny Browns and Kevin Gates, Dizzy Wright, Denzel Curry, Currency. I went on tour with Rob Banks, went on tour with Wi-Fi, went on tour with X. I've been at it for a while. I had to take some time off for health reasons. So like, you know, when I came back into making music, the whole landscape had changed. So it's been an interesting ride for sure. But
I peeped that you did Rolling Loud a couple years too.
I did the first Rolling Loud.
You did the first Rolling Loud?
Matter of fact, funny story. They used to have a company, Dope E&T, that used to promote concerts all up and through Central Florida, Miami, Jacksonville, all that. There was a group of artists that would open for those shows, and like we would just kind of go through the community and sell tickets and get on the grind and be out hand-to-hand tickets, all that, social media, whatever the case would be. This is like 20, when I started with them, this is about 10 years ago. This is like, actually 11, this is like, I think the first big show I did for them was a Kevin Gates show. Kevin Gates or Ferg, it was one of the other. And this is probably like 2013.
That's crazy.
2013-ish, around that time. I done opened for Currency more times than I can count, just thinking about it. So like myself, Old Town Marco, Wi-Fi's Funeral, X, Ski, all these cats were like people that were like getting on these shows, opening for these shows. Homie Sky, like. That's
crazy.
So building up the name, building up the brand, all that came to a head. And then, you know, when they had their first Rolling Loud, Wynwood, this was 2014 and 2015. It was a warehouse in Wynwood, 8,000 people. All them cats, with the exception, I think, of Old Town Marco, was on that show. So I was on that show, Wi-Fi was on that show, Sky was on that show.
That's
like
crazy.
I've been there since day one.
That's fire. That's something
Literally. And there's proof. There's archives. You can go look up the flyers.
I was looking at your I was looking at your stuff because the thing was, I'm like, oh, he was at One Loud 2020, and then I kept scrolling, I'm like, oh, he was at like it was like a couple of them you was at. So I'm like, you've done a couple, a lot of performances there. So that's fire. I ain't even gonna say I got a crazy story rolling out. I ain't even gonna say. I ain't think I don't say it on here though. I'm gonna tell you when we get off camera. Yeah, we get off camera. I see you do a lot of great visuals. So how important are visuals to you? Visuals
is damn near more important than the actual music. I love music and making it and just being a producer for most of my joints. It's important, but like film is a big passion of mine. I went to school for for like 3 different things. I went to school for English, I went to school for music, and I went to school for film. So I have like a degree in English, but like a concentration in film study. So just how the visuals come through, what's being told, just having glass, like pristine, cuts, and the big wide shots mean something to me. The color grading, shout out to my man Roberto. Shout out to my man Jan who helps me storyboard stuff. Like, I'm in the weeds with a lot of that, and I've been working with the same team for so long that we've built a kind of a brand visually of what we want things to look like.
For sure, for sure. I wanted to ask you a verse I want to ask you about this.
Okay.
You said, how can you look at me and not think God exists? What do you mean by that?
Man, I just been through so much from chemo, from my sickle cell, from having a stroke, heart attack, homies dying, all types of, nonsense and craziness, and I'm still here. I'm still pushing. I'm still, putting my program out there. And I think a lot of times people give up at the slightest inconvenience, and you can't. I just feel like with all the things that have been thrown my way, there got to be a God that's like pushing me to be like, yo, keep pushing your purpose. And I just want to be a testament to that. I might not end up being the biggest artist in the world. I might not be, the guy that changes how we look at music, but if I'm the person that inspires that change or inspires the person that does pull that off, then I'm living in my purpose, and that's what's important to me. And I want, I just feel like there's something bigger than just what I am on this earth. There's just got to be something bigger than that.
For sure. Last thing, if you can describe SoulCity sessions in one word or one sentence, what would you say?
Community. This is a great community effort. Like I was saying, like I don't have this back home. Like, people try to scam you, people try to do pay-for plays, people try to do all types of nonsense instead of just coming together for the music. So this is big. And I'm glad to be a part of this.
For sure. Well, it was great talking to you, and I'm looking forward to your performance also. And I will catch you guys in the next interview.
Absolutely.